So you're having a lot of crampy periods, some PMS. I'm going to look at your diet. We're going to tidy it up really well. We're going to add in oftentimes some fiber to help with the estrogen detox. Hi, I'm Dr. Mona Morstein. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click the link below. Otherwise, I'm going to get started. Today's topic is heavy cramping periods. Now, menstruation from say age 12 to 52, should just be a smooth, easy monthly process. It should not be a nightmare for women. Your period should be essentially nothing more than 3 to 4 days of manageable bleeding. That's it. That's what it should be. Now, if women are out of balance, unfortunately, there's a lot of signs and symptoms that can come along with the monthly cycle, like cramping and pain. Cramping down here, it can go down the thighs, can go around the back, can be a big problem. Maybe bleeding too heavily. Women don't really talk with each other, say, how much do you menstruate every month? But generally, we shouldn't be having to change heavy pads hourly. We shouldn't need a pad and a tampon and changing that every hour, every couple of hours. Generally, if you use a heavy pad, if you change it 4 times a day, maybe if you're using Super Plus tampons for the first day, changing it every, 4 hours or so. That's normal. That's the way it should be. We shouldn't be just gushing blood. We shouldn't have clots. Those clots that can come out with the period. That just is not the way it's supposed to be. We shouldn't have periods coming less than 28 days. It shouldn't be every 25 days. It shouldn't be every 21 days. And then, of course, many women have mood swings before their periods, whether they're irritable or angry, snippy, weepy, overwhelmed, like it just cannot be working well emotionally the way it can the rest of the days of the month. Some women get headaches, even migraines before their periods. Maybe water retention, bloating, sore breasts, food cravings, right? A lot of chocolate. They say chocolate because it has magnesium, which we'll talk about is good for cramping, but people get into food cravings, right? Some women get constipated, some can have a little diarrhea. So what is causing these imbalances? Why does it seem like this is the normal thing for women instead of being seen as not normal, like not our birthright as women? And so many women struggle from this, right? So there are several reasons, right? One is there is a poor diet. Sugar is a great way to produce cramping pains. That cramping pains is pro-inflammatory situation in the uterus itself. So things that are pro-inflammatory, like sugar, like too much animal products, like junk food and garbage and just eating bad foods, these are pro-inflammatory. Also, maybe diets that don't have a lot of omega-3s in them, which are anti-inflammatory, or diets that don't have magnesium, so found in a lot of whole grains and in vegetables and beans, for example. Calcium. Now, calcium, of course, is dairy, but it's also in almonds, it's in broccoli, it's in kale, it's in tofu. So we don't just have to get it through dairy, especially if you're sensitive to that. One of the best sources of calcium, did you know, is calcium fortified alternative dairy milks, like almond milk with calcium added in. That's it. They have enormous amounts of calcium in the fortified products. And calcium is anti-cramping. So also avoiding too much alcohol, caffeine. So caffeine are one of the things, caffeine, chocolate, they can really cause a lot of the breast soreness. So when we're getting the diet straightened out, adding in all the good stuff and pulling out the bad stuff, we're also looking at there's oftentimes just too much estrogens. If your periods are coming too soon, they're too heavy, you're having all kind of changes emotionally before the cycle. My worst patient emotionally before the cycle was a woman who got so out of whack she would throw dishes. So that's kind of the guideline I now ask other women. Oh, so you're not really, that happy before your periods. Are you throwing dishes? No, I've never met another woman who does. So this woman takes the cake, but it can get that bad in some. Now, so we can make too much estrogens ourselves, but remember, we're all getting too much estrogens in from the environment, from food and plastic, water and plastic, just in our pesticides, in our herbicides, our chemicals that are what we call xenoestrogens. And these act like estrogens in the female and the male body. And so this is a real problem and can add into the estrogen burden of the body. We also then look at the liver because the ovaries, they pop the estrogen out and they're like, done, la 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 la. And then all of the metabolism and the detox of the estrogen has to come from the liver. So the liver has got to take care of getting the estrogens out, put into the gut. Now, once it's in the gut, we need fiber to bind to the estrogens in the gut to enable it to go out with defecation. We need good beneficial bacteria to block an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, which can snip off glucuronic acid and allow estrogen to be recycled back into the body. So we need good beneficial bacteria to prevent that. We need a lot of fiber to bind with the estrogen and take it out. So we have all of that in terms of the detox aspect of things. Now, we also want to look at, are they getting exercise? How about sleep? What's going on with the thyroid? Because if the thyroid is off, that's going to go to the periods. And if the adrenals are off, that can go to the period. In general, with women, pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, and ovaries are kind of this foursome that dance together hormonally in the body. So we want to make sure they're all in really good balance. So you're having a lot of crampy periods, some PMS. I'm going to look at your diet. We're going to tidy it up really well. We're going to add in oftentimes some fiber to help with the estrogen detox. Going to recommend liver foods, the cruciferous veggies, artichokes, beets, maybe some dandelion tea, as well as potentially a liver formula to make sure the liver is able to detox well. Another particular product is DIM, diindolylmethane, which also helps the liver detox estrogens and enable them to be secreted. Another supplement called calcium D-glucarate helps block the reabsorption of estrogen back into the body, but I like to really build up the gut microbiome, and because I know when that's really strong, that also blocks, and I think it's better overall to have a healthier microbiome blocking the estrogen reabsorption than just taking another supplement. Now, we have inflammation in the uterus with the cramping, so omega-3s are really good, as well as gamma-linoleic acid. I mentioned that on my lecture for psoriasis, but gamma-linoleic acid and evening primrose oil, black currant oil, borage oil, that is very specific anti-inflammatory oil for the reproductive tract. So avoid alcohol and caffeine, at least any kind of excess caffeine, although green tea is really good to help the liver with detox, so that's a nice thing. Want to make sure that everything is balanced with exercise and stress relaxation. Make sure that the thyroid is top notch. Gonna give a multiple vitamin mineral as well, maybe some extra curcumin because of the pro-inflammatory nature of the uterus. There are many botanicals for this whole period thing. My favorites are combining Vitex and Shatavari. When I do that properly, it's amazing. It never fails to straighten out female periods, no matter how they're wackadoo. But we have other botanicals as well. Dong Quai, Black Cohosh, Diascorea, St. John's wort, passion flower, valerian, and skullcap to help with the moods. And when we put this all together, it can be so amazingly effective, that the periods become monthly and easy. Now, on a worst case scenario where women are having like periods every 21 days and they're really heavy, sometimes we do need to give progesterone, the actual hormone, which we can give 2 to 3 weeks of the month. Now, obviously, I try to work better with the body. Licorice can help with progesterone, red clover can help with progesterone. I try to do the hormone only if, for some reason, the other things that typically work are not working. Then we always have the hormone to balance that estrogen, right? Because we can either have normal estrogen and low progesterone, or too much estrogen and normal or low progesterone, especially when the cycles are getting shorter and shorter and heavier and heavier. So we've got diet, we've got supplements, essential oils, we've got lifestyle that we have to get in track, we've got botanicals and hormones. All of these ways are natural ways to get a woman balanced so periods are just that smooth, easy 3 to 4 days of regular bleeding. I'm Dr. Mona Morstein. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you again at my next video. Bye.